From the electrifying performances that have made Caitlin Clark a household name, to the controversies surrounding her out-of-control temper, let's take a look at what her ex-coach just said that left her speechless.
Welcome back to Dallas. Caitlin Clark upset.
And
oh yeah, okay. Certainly deserve the technical.
Caitlin Clark has been making headlines for more than just her incredible skills on the court. Her fiery temper and frequent complaints to officials have led to a significant amount of technical fouls, a trend that has been both a blessing and a curse for her team. As of now, Clark has been called for 5 technical fouls this season, placing her just 2 away from a 1-game suspension according to WNBA rules. One of the most recent incidents that drew attention was during a game against the Minnesota Lynx on July 14th. Clark was pushing the ball up the court when Lynx forward Cecilia Zandalicini grabbed her arm to slow her down. Clark reacted with a short swipe that connected with Zandalicini's face, resulting in a personal foul on Zandalicini and a technical foul on Clark after officials reviewed the play. This incident is just one example of how Clark's competitive drive can sometimes boil over into unsportsmanlike conduct. Another time was when she slammed the padding of the basketball hoop in frustration after missing a shot, leading to her 5th technical foul of the season. The referee in that game interpreted her action as disrespectful to the game of basketball, sparking debate about whether such actions should be penalized as technical fouls. Clark's temper has been an issue since her college days at the University of Iowa, where she was known for her intense on-court attitude. One memorable incident during her college career involved Clark arguing with her father, who was sitting behind the scorer's table. This argument took place after an offensive foul was called against her. This exchange highlighted the ongoing struggle she has faced in controlling her temper. Her college coach, Lisa Bluder, had to navigate these emotional outbursts, finding ways to channel Clark's energy into positive on-court actions. Bluder and her staff worked tirelessly to balance Clark's passion with the need for composure, a challenge that has been a recurring theme in her development as a player. Despite the criticism, though, Clark's definition of respect may differ from what others expect. She is known for her trash talk and competitive nature, which sometimes leads to conflicts with opponents. But she also shows a more positive side by celebrating her teammates' successes and being receptive to young fans. For instance, after beating the Seattle Storm, Clark was more excited about her teammate Lexi Hull's career-high 22 points than her own record-breaking performance. How does Clark's behavior affect the team's dynamics, though? Well, while her competitive fire is undeniable, it sometimes puts her at odds with opponents and teammates. For example, during a game against the Phoenix Mercury, Clark's trash talk drew a reaction from Diana Taurasi, one of the league's most experienced players. These interactions really show the ongoing struggle coaches have to try and balance Caitlin's passion with respect for the game. Because of Clark's temper, she has already incurred fines totaling $1,400 this season due to her technical fouls. Each additional technical foul beyond the 7th will result in further suspensions, which could significantly impact her team's chances in crucial games. Clark's behavior has real impacts on her team, and since the Fever just made the playoffs, it is crucial for her to maintain her composure ASAP. Her coach Christy Sides has been working to tone down Clark's behavior, recognizing the fine line between competitive fire and hurting the team. Clark knows that there is a balance to be found, and she has been figuring out how to control her emotions better over the course of the season, but hasn't seemed to figure it out just yet. Can Clark channel her passion and intensity in a way that benefits her team without crossing the line? Let us know what you think in the comments. The coaching challenges that Caitlin Clark's intense competitive drive and temper have created, particularly during her college days at Iowa, are intense. Clark's college coach, Lisa Bluder, and her assistant coach, Jan Jensen, faced significant hurdles in managing Clark's passion and ensuring it translated into positive on-court actions, without overshadowing the team's overall performance. One of the primary challenges was balancing Clark's need for freedom on the court with the necessity of maintaining team discipline. Lisa Bluder said, "A person like Caitlin who's special, you've got to let them have a little bit of freedom, but she had to use her talents more judiciously." This delicate balance was crucial because Clark's tendency to go off script often led to both spectacular plays but also very frustrating moments for her teammates and coaches. The impact on team dynamics was also a significant concern. Clark's competitive nature sometimes boiled over into into conflicts with teammates and opponents. For instance, her frustration would occasionally result in technical fouls, which not only reflected poorly on her but also affected the team's morale and strategy. Despite these challenges, Clark's coaches worked tirelessly to channel her energy into constructive actions, emphasizing the importance of trust and teamwork. It was almost like a full-time job just trying to manage her temper. When Clark transitioned to the WNBA, the coaching challenges didn't disappear, they simply evolved. Indiana Fever head coach Christy Sides has been navigating similar issues due to Caitlin's temper. Sides has had to experiment with different lineups and plays to integrate Clark's standout abilities into the Fever's gameplay while maintaining team chemistry. This has been a complex task, especially given the high expectations surrounding Clark's arrival in the WNBA. The early stages of the season saw the Fever struggling to live up to these expectations, with the team starting with 5 consecutive losses. However, Sides' efforts to fine-tune the team's strategies and Clark's role within them have started to pay off. The Fever have since found a rhythm, winning several games back-to-back and improving their position in the standings. This turnaround really shows the ongoing process of adapting to Clark's unique strengths and weaknesses. This brings us to the question of how Clark's behavior affects her teammates and the overall team dynamic. In college, Clark's intense competitiveness sometimes made it difficult for her to trust her teammates, a challenge that her coaches and teammates acknowledged. Monica Chinano, a former teammate, noted that Clark had to learn to trust her teammates, which took time given her history of being the primary player on her teams. In the professional league, this dynamic continues to evolve. The Fever's offense has looked fluid when Clark is controlling the flow, but it has also been evident that her teammates sometimes struggle to integrate her into their play. For example, there have been instances where Clark's teammates have stopped passing her the ball, leading to frustration and a disjointed offense. The coaching aspect of managing Clark and her on-court role would not be easy. Sides must balance the need to utilize Clark's scoring and playmaking abilities with the necessity of building a cohesive team. This involves making strategic decisions about when to let Clark take over and when to distribute the ball more evenly among the team. The pressure to manage these expectations is heightened by the constant scrutiny and media attention surrounding Clark's performances. With record-breaking performances each week and Caitlin becoming the face of the WNBA, it only puts further pressure and expectations on her shoulders. This increases the chances of Caitlin potentially losing her temper faster if something didn't go her way. Next, let's talk about how Caitlin Clark's temper has been a persistent challenge and the efforts made by her coaches to manage this aspect of her game. Clark's fiery personality, while a significant part of her competitive drive, has often landed her in trouble, both on and off the court. Currently, she has accumulated several flagrant fouls in the WNBA, primarily due to her reactions to officials and opponents. This behavior is not new. It has been an issue since her college days at the University of Iowa. Clark's ex-coach at Iowa revealed how she had to address what was described as toddler-like behavior from Clark. This involved strategies to manage her emotions and reactions during games, emphasizing the importance of finding a balance between competitiveness and respect for the game. For instance, during practices, Clark would often bark orders at her teammates, and coaches would have to intervene to settle her down. This constant need for emotional regulation was crucial in helping Clark grow as a player and a teammate. When Jensen was asked whether she had any discussions with Clark about her body language and behavior while at Iowa, she said, "Yeah, I mean there were several. I just think it's kind of like raising a child. Sometimes what you see, it looks like toddler behavior, right? It's like, you kind of have to keep telling them sometimes. And sometimes you're going to reprimand right away and sometimes you put them in timeout later. And all of those you're constantly assessing as a coach." Jensen also said that she and the Iowa coaching staff noticed Clark's eruptions during recruiting, which caused some other schools to not recruit her. But Jensen and Bluter understood that Clark was just operating at a different level mentally compared to her peers. Jensen also admitted that it was tough to make Clark's teammates understand early on in her career that Clark didn't mean it when she yelled at them for missing a pass. The impact of Clark's temper on team dynamics cannot be overstated. In the WNBA, her aggressive tactics and frequent complaints to officials have drawn significant scrutiny. Opponents have targeted her, employing physical and verbal provocations to unsettle her. For example, in a game against the Chicago Sky, Clark was subjected to a clear push without the ball from Chennedy Carter, accompanied by insults. This incident escalated tensions and highlighted the challenges Clark faces in maintaining her composure under pressure. The playoff implications are significant, and Clark's ability to manage her emotions will be pivotal pivotal in determining the team's success. Christy Sides has been working to tone down Clark's behavior, recognizing the fine line between competitive fire and hurting the team. Sides has encouraged Clark to control her emotions better, especially as the Fever approaches the threshold for an automatic one-game suspension due to technical fouls. Caitlin Clark's temper has been a double-edged sword throughout her career. While it fuels her competitive drive, it also poses significant challenges for her and her team. As she continues to grow as a player in the WNBA, finding a balance between passion and composure will be essential for her success.